I did want to say a word about the title. I chose the title for this show, Image and Memory, because one of the most common questions I'm asked, particularly with the realistic landscapes, is what is your source of information? What images are you working from? And of course, you do work from images, from the real image itself, from the real place. And I do a lot of work in sketchbooks, which I meant to bring, and I forgot to bring them. Okay, but I do have these small watercolors up front, and there are a lot of them in the back display room that come pretty close to what I do, very close, really, to what I do in the sketchbooks, and that's where it all starts. I'll go out and work plein air in sketchbooks, and that doesn't mean that I come home then, okay, and take that particular image or those particular images and then enlarge them and replicate them. You know, image is a very broad word. I use photographs, I use sketches, and then all of those are supplemented with the second word, which is memory, and that's the most important thing. Image is one thing, but the most important thing is my memory of that image, because even when I'm working from an image, I'll start and I'll begin to work, and before long, like if I'm working on that painting, I may have, that's a small creek that runs very close to where I live, and I may have sketches, I may have several photographs laid out, I may have one primary photograph that I might be looking at, but by the time I'm a fourth of the way into the painting, when the painting begins, you know, you reach a point when you're painting when the painting becomes its own inspiration. You know, the painting then begins to inform you. You have to get enough down, and then pretty soon, it's like a conversation with somebody. It starts out a little stilted because you don't know one another all that well, and then, you know, as you become more and more acquainted, the conversation gets real, and pretty soon you're exchanging some pretty interesting information. And that's kind of what goes on when I'm painting. Yes?
When you're sketching, are you working in color at all, or only pencil? Or
no, I'm working in watercolor.
Oh, so plein air is watercolor.
Right. And I do finished, I shouldn't say finished, but resolved work in the studio too. But like this is a plein air sketch. And when I say sketch, that's not a diminutive kind of term to me. That's not a demeaning term. In fact, I went the whole way to New York just to see Degas' sketchbooks, because that was the first time they had all been shown together, and that to me was the most revealing thing that you could see about Degas, all of those beautiful little sketches that he had done from life. Okay, so
can I
yes,
add to that something? Since I've seen your sketchbooks, it is too bad you didn't bring them, because when you say sketchbook, what you mean are these books in which each page is a finished work of art, and often you'll have a framing
border around it.
Outside.
Yeah.
You sign them. I once counted the front cover said how many pages there were in the blank book that you started with, and so I counted the pages to see how much junk you had ripped out. You hadn't ripped out any.
No.
Every page was
That's
finished work. Yeah, really remarkable.
Thank you. That's a rule that I put on myself when I started working, was that, you know, when you make your living selling your artwork, you have somehow there has to be something that is off limits, something that is you, and nobody really touches that. You know, in other words, it can't be bought and sold. It's not commoditized, and and that's what the sketchbooks are to me. I never, well, I have on a couple of occasions, maybe when I was working with other artists and we were sketching together, we might tear a page out and exchange pages. But other than that, I don't. And they're very, very important to me. I've told Janny that if the house was on fire, if she could get anything before she got out, you know, don't grab the big paintings off the wall. Those are not the flashes of insight to me that the sketchbooks are. And I've got hundreds of the things, stacks of them like this, you know. But those are the things that I can't do over again. Like, yes?
When you're doing your planner, how long do you normally spend on some of these?
It depends. Some of, like when I'm working in a sketchbooks, they may be 15-minute studies, you know, very quick.
One of these is
Now, well, this one in particular, this was a longer piece. This took the better part of a day because there's a lot of gouache and so on used in here. I'm not a purist when it comes to watercolor. I'll use anything that will work. You know, I'm not, you know, like the American Watercolor Society with their transparent only requirements and things like that. That's just ridiculous, you know, because the finest painters in the world all used white paint and gouache and body color and whatever they could.
What about pastel?
Pastel. Yeah, in fact, I don't use pastel, but I did, and I discovered it when I was outdoor painting plein air. I carry a set of barrel Prismacolor pencils with me, and when I'm done, I will sometimes, I don't know whether any of these show it or not. Yeah. Like these little strokes of light color up there, that's just a barrel Prismacolor pencil. I will say a word about what Jerald was saying about the body of abstracts I do and the body of the landscapes I do, is the landscapes are all, the abstracts are all landscape derived. They are all based upon and derived from the landscape, not in a visual sense necessarily, like these are derived from a strongly visual sense of the landscape. The abstracts are drawn from, well, as the name implies, a more abstracted sense of the landscape, a feeling for place, color, time, all of that. And I did a series called Wolf Creek series one time, and this painting and that painting back there are both Wolf Creek. And what I did was I just went to Wolf Creek with the sketch pad, and then I was doing some abstractions. And I wasn't there to look at the creek, I wasn't there to replicate the creek, I wasn't there to paint any images. What I was there for was to just be there while I did it. So as I did them, I was there. So they weren't about Wolf Creek. They weren't descriptive of Wolf Creek. They were from Wolf Creek. They were just from that area. And the environment that I was in, I think the environment you're in always influences what you're doing.